My manager wants child-free team members to work an additional 40 hours a week without compensation. Now she won't have to work because I got her fired. Our department manager booked a team meeting to discuss upcoming changes. At this meeting, we're presented with a memo outlining the changes in hours to be worked starting November, and they were mandatory 8 to 8 work days every day, including Saturdays and Sundays, if deemed necessary. Except for team members who have children, their hours will remain 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. The manager finishes reviewing this and asks, "Any questions?" And I said, "Yes, I have a question. In what world did you think this would be okay?" She explains that due to the situation in the last few months, we've fallen behind in projects as team members have to take care of their kids and work simultaneously, so we have to pick up the slack. I said, "Based on our status meeting yesterday, the team members without kids are all on track with their projects, with many of us consistently finishing days before our deadlines. So, are you telling me that those of us who don't have kids have to work an additional 40 hours a week to complete projects for team members who won't even be helping finish the said projects?" She responded, "I'm struggling to understand why this is such a big issue for you." I asked my fellow child-free team members if they were okay with this, and they all said no. The ones with kids are completely silent, of course. I tell her it's insane that she thinks this is even close to being okay. She just blinks at me. Then I asked her if she would also work these hours with us. Of course, it's a no. She has a child, 18 years old. I was ready to throw my laptop through the window at this point. She then just ends the meeting, and I am fuming. I regroup with my fellow child-free team, and we agree this isn't about to happen. I emailed the manager immediately to let her know that we would request a meeting with HR and the legal department to discuss our employment contracts and the hours we're being forced to work simply because we don't have kids. I know damn well that this is effing insane and against all employment policies within the company. She called me and told me there was no need to go to HR legal and that we could resolve this internally. Beach, no, we can't. You dismissed me and didn't even listen to 12 other team members. You plan to work to death without any sort of additional compensation. She then says, "Well, you're salaried, so there's no need for additional compensation." If only I could choke her through the phone. In the most professional way I could muster, I collected myself and told her that we could discuss this with HR and legal and that I would end the call. I booked a meeting with my child-free team, including the manager, HR, and legal team tomorrow. I might end up unemployed tomorrow, but I'm not letting this go. This is the hill I will die on. Update: the meeting took place this morning with the manager, head of HR, another HR manager, 2 labor law attorneys, the head of my department, and 13 child-free team members. I started the meeting by explaining why we've gathered here today, and the head of my department was dumbfounded. He had no idea what the manager tried to pull. So I presented the manager's memo and the company's overtime policy, which clearly states that mandatory overtime must be mandatory for all members of the department, hourly and salaried. All members must work an equal number of OT hours, and the head of the department must approve it. If any of these conditions are unmet, management can't impose them and should ask for volunteers to work OT instead. My argument was simple. The manager didn't follow the policy and purposefully targeted the child-free members. Legal asked the head of my department if he approved the memo. The answer was an angry no. Legal asks the manager for her side of the story. Answer: I wasn't aware of this policy. I interject with, I find that hard to believe when 3 weeks ago we did an extensive review with that policy being the main objective, and you were heavily involved with each step. The head of HR chimes in with, I can attest to that. I worked with the manager on this project. Let's be truthful, please. Manager says, well, I didn't think the policy would apply in this case. Legal stepped in with, are you saying that you, the manager responsible for enforcing policies, honestly thought that those same policies don't apply to you? Head of my department stepped in with, you were blatantly wrong here. There's no need to try and justify it. Next were some of the child-free members who shared emails between them and her, showing your standard crappy manager behaviors and lack of accountability. She kept repeating, that's not why we're here today. It didn't stop them from going on, though. Watching this was very enjoyable. Then, one of the other members asked to speak, and this guy showed up with receipts. He spent the entire night creating an analysis, pie charts and all, to illustrate how many projects were done by the 13 child-free as compared to the 19 parents, how much time was put in by us versus them, how much vacation/sick time was approved for us versus them, for the last year. His analysis showed that 13 of us did close to 60% of all the work while 19 of them did 40-ish. Don't even get me started on the rest of the stats. This guy wiped the floor with the manager. Her response? This company promotes work-life balance and wants families to have time to spend with each other. So, normally, employees with kids get time to do just that. I couldn't hold back. I said, yes, you're right that the company does that. What you're lacking here is the understanding that family includes other people, not just children. In case you were unaware, all of us have families too. HR interjected, I believe we have enough information here. The team members were asked to leave the meeting to deliberate, and we were told they'll circle back with us later in the afternoon. Later comes around. We're invited to a meeting. It's all the same people this time, but there is no manager. The head of my department apologized that this had never happened, thanked us for doing the right thing and bringing it to their attention, and told us he would be taking over managerial duties for the time being. Legal added that the memo is null and void and clarified that we will not be working those insane hours. In case you're wondering, the manager was offline for the rest of the day. We don't know what happened there, but who cares? We won.